And welcome back to another episode of What's Trending. I'm Randy Filiault.
And I'm Deb Hamel.
Yes, she is. And look at this. We're adding to our repertoire here of our studio.
American flag, the New Hampshire
The flag. No, let me read. You see, this is going to be my joke, and she just messed it up. The United States of America.
Yes.
The state of New Hampshire, and you just confirmed the state of confusion. But thank you very much for that.
And we're live.
Good try. Anyhow. Welcome back. We've done it again.
Lots to talk about.
A lot in like 27 minutes.
And we don't have a lot of time. We always talk about sponsors. We're looking for sponsors. And we're very close to signing a sponsor, Robin Smith. She's a realtor at Remax Town and Country. And she's the #1 broker in Cheshire County.
How about that?
So if you're looking to buy or sell, call Robin Smith. Hey,
of course, we can't advertise on the show because we can't. So
Right.
we're not.
No, we're not advertising.
But we can talk.
Right.
And we just did.
We're talking.
Okay.
So, I just found out who your father-in-law is, Jack Laurent. Do you know he's a Republican?
I'm aware of that.
He is a great guy.
Well, he watches our show, too. Anybody that watches our show is great people.
That's right. Jack Laurent, really, really nice guy.
Yep. He really is a nice guy.
He is.
Politics at Thanksgiving can get a little bit heated over the turkey, but
I
that's
want to
okay.
be invited.
Oh, yeah, it's really good. Yeah. A little more wine, a little more beer. Yeah. Anyhow, with that said, going ons in Keene, we'll get to that, and there's lots of going on politically.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to jump right on that. And you were talking about, we just mentioned, and you've read a lot online and in the paper, that another restaurant in Keene, Olive Garden, is going by the wayside.
It's going away.
But you know, people ask me about that, and they're owned by Darden Corporation.
Correct.
Darden Corporation, if you Google it and look it up, they own at least a dozen restaurant chains.
Like Red Lobster, maybe,
Yeah,
or something like
there's
that.
a bunch of them that they own.
A plethora.
And basically the way they do it is, you know, they have your certain criteria you have to meet dollar-wise.
Yes.
You fall below that like 2 months in a row, they pull the plug and go home.
You're out of here.
They're not like an independent who will fight it out and struggle and
Yep.
stay and do what they have to and take care of their employees.
Right.
They're like, bink, gone. And with that, my opinion of all that, with a couple of restaurants going like Pizza Hut, back 2002, 2008, 2009, when the economy was going great guns,
Yes.
Keene got oversaturated with restaurants. You know, everybody and their brother built in Keene.
Yes.
And there's only so many food dollars to go around. And then the economy tightened up as it did. And even though it's come back some, it's still tighter than it used to be.
Correct.
Only so many food dollars to go around.
This is true.
So eat locally, because your independents bust their butts to stay open.
And you know
And they're
that
not
well.
making a ton of money. They're working hard for it.
Yes.
So that's my 2 bits on that.
Okay.
Other local issues going on is we did hire a new interim city manager. We didn't have to go far. We just went an office around the corner. Med Kopsitsky.
Yo, Med.
He's been with us for quite a while. That was no big surprise. I think most people thought
Smart
he'd come on
choice for an
board.
interim. It
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. We won't miss a beat. He's already there. He knows the issues. And so, you know, he'll be working and obviously with the city manager until John leaves here October
Yes.
1st. And then hopefully by December we've got somebody on board. But, you know, we want to get it right. We want to do it quick, but we also don't want to rush it.
Right.
You know, we want somebody that does a good job like the last 2 city managers have done. So. So that's on the agenda. We'll be talking about that over the next, couple of months. But with Med on board, the city won't miss a beat. It's
Smooth
sailing.
That's
It's not
it.
like Washington where it screws up everything.
Oy,
We'll take care of it here.
we will.
So that's what's going on locally. What do you got over there?
Well, the other thing locally, because I've been watching Cheshire TV, they were talking about NGM wants to put in the flashing lights across the sidewalk out here.
Yeah. Similar to kind of what's down near Keene State, but without the bump.
Good. Don't like that bump. It slows me down.
So basically what it is, because they've tried the things in the middle of the street saying, careful, blah, blah, yeah, you slow down, that ain't happening. Yellow light, green
And when
light,
I'm
red
eating my
light.
hamburger, I don't really look up to see that sign, so the flashing lights will do good. They have that in Amherst, Mass, and it
Yeah.
works really well.
It catches your attention.
So it is going to happen.
It looks it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
And how did things go with the Committee on Substance Abuse and Heroin?
well, as you're aware, that the mayor appointed myself and Councillor Clark to co-chair the committee. He's just I talked to the mayor yesterday. The final people are just getting appointed to it that said they have time to do it.
Great.
And we will be meeting Wednesday, September 2nd will be our first meeting. And it's not going to be easy.
No.
It's a mess.
It's like herding cats.
And that's pretty much what it's going to be. You get everybody in the same room that has anything to do with it.
Right.
And no finger pointing, no blame, no name calling.
Don't.
It's like, We all work together.
That's right.
And of course, in an election year, everybody's finger pointing at somebody else. So it's a matter of keeping everybody in line. So stay tuned to that. Hopefully, we come up with some recommendations, but it's going to take local, and we need to get the state involved.
Right.
We can't have the state saying, and the federal government.
Correct.
You can't keep handing it down saying, you take care of it. As I said, it's all hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. So get ready to work.
And speaking of federal, and speaking of the substance abuse, you went to the Hillary Clinton to-do.
I did, the to-do. It's a to-do. I did. And it was different than most dog and pony show campaign stops, as a lot of them can be.
They can.
You can ask 100 questions, and most politicians have like 5 answers.
Correct.
And you know that. You've been doing this for a while.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what you ask them, they will go to 1 of 5 answers. It always does that. So this particular forum was just on substance abuse. And it really stuck to the issue.
Right.
And only a couple times did it sway away a little bit. But the audience made sure it stayed on key, because they would ask questions from the audience. A lot of recovering addicts,
Right.
And not your typical street junkie that not everybody, but most people perceive
Yes.
as a heroin addict is. Middle income, upper income people that made a bad choice,
Young
and
people
one
too.
bad choice can take you a whole lifetime to recover from.
I was watching it live when I finally realized I could watch it live streaming, and one woman stood up, and what a passionate plea she made about that she was in charge of the recovery groups or something, but the money was cut for recovery groups. I forget who she was or anything like that, but what a great point.
Oh, absolutely. You used to have in Keene, you had Beach Hill, you had the Otterbrook.
Right.
You had
And Dublin had something, didn't
yeah,
it?
Dublin-
Phoenix House or something?
There's a Phoenix House, and there was one in Spofford. There was 4 or
Yes.
5 in the county.
Right.
We're not talking the state, in the county. But what's happened over time is, and not a finger point thing, but the state stopped providing money.
Yeah.
Insurance companies started pulling the plug because it wasn't profitable. And what we wound up doing is just putting people that needed help on the street.
Right.
Now they go on the street, where do they go? They go to jail. They go to jail, they get out of jail, they go right back into it, they go back to jail. So obviously the system's broke.
The system is broke. Did Miss Hillary have anything to say constructive?
She did. The whole forum was positive.
Yes.
And obviously that whether it's Hillary, and we'll talk about some of the other candidates, no matter what you talk to them about, whoever gets it is still 18 months away from getting to be president.
Yes.
So, I'm looking at it long term. It's okay, if you get elected, I'm thinking 18 months down the road, will you provide funding at that point, or will you help communities?
Right.
But the reality is, until then, not a lot
Yes.
is changing, in Washington. I mean, we've got some senators down there taking a look at it, and when I mean taking a look, sometimes it's one of these.
Right. Perusing.
Which way is the wind blowing? Unfortunately, or fortunately, as we saw yesterday at the forum, the best thing about yesterday's forum was it got national exposure.
It certainly did.
Sometimes you don't want to bring negative national exposure to your area, but in this particular case, if people don't know, and people should know, because this is nationwide.
It's the fact, Jack. And wasn't there just something about there's more fatalities with heroin than car accidents
Unbelievable.
in
huh?
the state of New
In the
Hampshire?
state of New Hampshire. The number one cause of death is now heroin overdose.
I was talking with a doctor, not one of mine, that works here in Keene, and they were saying that they came from a big city here just a year or two ago, and they never expected to see the heroin problems and the drug overdoses, especially with younger people, like 15 years old and things.
Yep.
They said they never expected to see that here.
No, and you don't, and I think sometimes the smaller community you go to, you see it more because it's right there. The big cities,
Right.
The big cities, you kind of ignore it. Oh, there's a junkie.
Right.
And you come to the small
And the big
community.
cities have more places that
They
people
do.
can go.
They have more help.
Yeah, more help is what
More
I'm
help,
looking
and
for.
that's, if there's a weak link in New Hampshire, it's treatment.
Yeah.
And as you saw Sheriff Rivera say yesterday, we can't arrest our way out of this.
This is true.
You can only put so many people in jail. Now, going on to that, obviously the forum was good. I left the forum, went home, got a glass of water, picked up my wife Holly,
Water, sure.
and headed off to. I was driving. Headed off to Peterborough to see John Kasich, who's
I like him a lot.
he's a Republican running for president, governor of Ohio.
Yes, he is. Moderate Republican.
Moderate, and you know, it was good because you could tell it was mainly obviously a Republican crowd, and you could tell the people farther to the right didn't really like his answers because they were moderate answers.
Because he's moderate, yeah.
And he was honest. When they tried to fish an answer out of him, he even said to them, "I'm clearly not going to give you the answer that you want,
Right.
because it's not what I believe." But I did have a chance to speak with him for several minutes after he got done.
Because in Ohio, they have a program set up, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you talked to him about?
Oh, absolutely. They have a program there where, because 80% of prisoners have substance abuse problems. What happens is, like in New Hampshire, they get out of jail, they're right back on the street. Their substance abuse problem hasn't been taken care of. You know, a lot of them hook right back up to the same people that got them into jail.
Exactly.
And they go back in.
Old friends.
Yeah, friends. In Ohio, they have treatment in the prisons. And not only that, as the governor was mentioning to me, after they get out of prison, they stay within a rehab program, which is funded by the state.
Okay.
Because if people say, well, it costs too much money, well, it costs more money to send them back to jail.
That's the thing. It's you know, it's being proactive instead of being reactive.
Absolutely.
And that's the point that we're at now. We as a community and as a state, we're reactive, not proactive.
And he had his figures with him, and it's 90% success rate. Only 10% getting out of prison for drug issues go back.
Fabulous.
That's a phenomenal percentage. So the governor did say, of course, everybody wanted his attention, and I was fending him off. You know,
You got to be like a Deb Hamel.
I had elbows. Well, that's what I was saying. If Deb was here, they wouldn't get anywhere close to us. He said he will talk to us when he comes back to Keene.
Yes.
And so you and I will meet up with him. Maybe we can drag him in the studio here.
He'll do it.
You know, right? We'll give him the
He'll do it.
publicity he needs.
He's gonna go far.
The heck with Fox Network.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
trending, baby?
Right.
We'll get you exposure.
Yes, we're fair and balanced.
Absolutely.
He's a little off balance, but but it is presidential season, and they
is.
are all over the place. I was going to go see Kasich last night, but I did not go. But this morning, bright and early in Swansea at the dinner table, I met Rand Paul.
Down at the airport.
Down by the airport, where people don't know if it's Keene or Swansea.
Yeah, one or the other.
One or t'other. But yes, I met Rand Paul, and I was like, I put on my Facebook, give me a question to ask him. And the first one to write back was James Pindell, who runs the political site on Boston Globe.
Okay.
So he gave me a question, and he said, ask him what's more important, running for president and possibly losing, or staying in the Senate and keeping up the fight. Well, I asked him that question, and he like bristled.
Did he go to one of the 5 canned answers?
He did not. He was kind of stupefied.
Yeah.
And everybody's staring at me like, what is she? Damn, get her out of here.
How dare you ask an intelligent question?
I had the sun beating down on me. I was sweating bullets. But he said, well, it's similar to Paul Ryan. When Paul Ryan ran last time around and stuff, he goes, I'm actually doing 3 jobs at once. I think that my state's taxpayers are getting their money, and I'm there 99% of the time.
Okay.
And as I was just thinking, okay, he did not impress me.
Yeah.
He didn't impress me because he started out and it was, you know, Trump, blah, blah, you know, woo, and the same with Hillary. And I was thinking, I'm sitting here boiling in the sun. I want to hear what you have to say. What will you do? Don't just throw out little things of, this is what I'm going to do, this. Tell me how. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of whiny in the beginning. If I wanted that, I would have babysat a 2-year-old. You met him after.
I did. After Deb completely pummeled him and beat the living heck out of him, he bruised and battered, got in his car, and came dragging into Keene.
Sound like one of my old boyfriends.
So I was sitting in Lindy's diner, and I saw this battered and bloody guy get out of a car. I'm like, oh, that must be him. Deb must have got through with him. So he comes meandering into Lindy's diner, and all 7 or 8 of us that were in there, greeted him. The other 6 didn't even know he was coming,
or who he was.
Or who he was. So like, who's that? So I mean, he had this one media person with him, not the exact entourage, and he was early. And as a presidential candidate, never arrive early because some people that want to see you might arrive later. Mm-hmm. So the 1 or 2 people that wanted to see him, they arrived late, and they didn't miss anything anyhow. But I stood up and talked to him, and I asked him about, once again, the same question I asked all the candidates. Mm-hmm. If you were president, would you provide funding for the heroin and opioid addiction problem that we have in the United States. And he looked at me, same thing, kind of stupefied, like that wasn't a question that was supposed to be asked at this event.
This is a feel-good event.
Yeah, this is feel-good. You're not making me feel good. You know I just got done with Deb Hamel. So he started to answer about, well, we can't put everybody into jail. And he was going off on a different area.
Yeah,
and I kind of brought him back in about
meanders.
funding. He meandered. And I brought him back in. I said, no, funding. Would you favor federal funding to help communities? And he was like, well, I'm not going to provide any more monies that's already there. And then he started going off on something about China. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not done with my coffee yet. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean,
Bye-bye.
he was polite, but
Yes.
there was no, you've met a lot of candidates.
I have.
There was no sharpness. He didn't have an answer. It was almost like, I haven't heard that question before.
Yeah, it was almost like he wanted it to be a staged event or something like that. You know how they talk about the coronation of Hillary Clinton or something? It's almost as if he came in and it's like, I'm a senator. And he was wearing lovely, lovely, expensive cowboy boots and the most expensive Ray-Ban sunglasses. But he had on this checkered shirt, and it reminded me of, now I can't think of his name.
Lamar Alexander.
Lamar Alexander.
I brought that up this morning.
Did you?
I was talking to
God,
Holly about
we're
it.
thinking alike.
They dress the part. They come in and they go down to TJ Maxx and
A white and blue checkered shirt
with iron creases on it. It's like, look, I'm one of you.
and his jeans too.
Yeah, yeah.
It was definitely interesting, and I keep saying,
fun.
when the presidential candidates come around,
See them.
go see them, talk with them. And since our last show was the big debate, the big
big debate.
Republican debate, you had the happy hour debate with some candidates and the regular one. And on previous shows, I've said, I like Trump. Well, after the debate, and I was watching and doing my own type of tweeting, you know, going on Facebook and writing my opinion, Donald Trump disappointed me.
Well, if you remember, and I'll jot your memory if you don't,
I don't remember.
I said to you, my co-host, I said,
I need a drink.
how do you, I said, "Oh, how do you trip up Donald Trump? And you said, how? And I said, ask him an intelligent question. And it's true because you talk about somebody that doesn't have a platform. All he is, he's like, damn it, I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry, I'm going to build a wall. I'm angry, and I'm going to build a wall. Well, what else are you going to do? I'm going to build that wall, and I'm going to insult women. Okay? And then when they ask him about anything else, he said today, well, you know what? I'm putting together some people to kind of put a platform together. It's like, really? You just thought of that? You're running for president?
I still like Donald Trump. He's in my top 3. I did not like the way he answered the question about bankruptcy. It was
good at it.
It was flippant. It was almost flippant. And I know that you declare those chapter bankruptcies for more of a reorganization than to say, I'm getting rid of my bills. But he was asked specifically, what about the contractors, which are the backbone of everything, the blue collar? And it's like, but they didn't get paid in this and that. And then he went off on some tangent about them.
Yeah, he basically just said, well, that's the way the laws are written, and I take advantage of them. So what?
And those contractors aren't the most innocent people anyway. We're not dealing with this and that. So it's just kind of like, I thought Kasich did very well. I like him. Governor Christie, I really like him.
No, I've been impressed with Governor Christie. I mean, and when I say this, it's not on every topic. You know, even Governor Kasich, there was a couple of things.
But if we're looking at them as a bundle.
Right. You're not going to get everything that you want. What I'm looking for now, and yes, I'm a Democrat, but it doesn't mean I'm locked into any candidate.
You're looking for a prayer that the Democrats win.
That's good. Oh,
that's not going to happen.
You really thank you, Donald Trump. He either wins it or he runs as an independent. He's handing it over. But with that said, Hillary's in trouble.
Hillary's in a lot of trouble. That's too bad. They're saying now.
Are you that sad, really?
I am. Yeah. They're saying now that she had, and I can never say the word right. Surveillance. From the satellites.
That's from aliens. Yeah, they probably hired alien spaceships
from Clinton aliens.
Yeah.
But that was on her phone. All kinds of top secret things, and she is falling in the polls.
Pumpkin pie recipes. Yeah, really bad stuff.
And just today that it said that Boyne Sanders is ahead of her in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Now, Boyne, to me, is kind of like, he's out there, Jerry, and he's loving every minute of it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But if Biden runs, I think I think the Dems would have a chance. I like Biden.
Bernie Sanders says a lot. He's a very intelligent guy. He said the same thing for 20 years.
Right.
You know, so whether you agree or disagree with him or not, I admire him because he does not change his direction when the wind's blowing.
That's
Either
correct.
you like what he says, or you don't like what he says, but he's not changing his tune.
Right.
Same thing. I agree with a lot of the things that he says, like
Yeah.
a lot of candidates. But Bernie has a tendency to be farther to the left than I am.
Yeah.
And some things I kind of look to the left and I'm like, that's a little bit too far over there for me. Much like most of the Republicans, they'll say some moderate things and they take 3 steps and they fall over to the right.
And I like Huckabee. I worked with Mike Huckabee. I know him. I've been at, when he was the governor of Arkansas a lot. He was on the chair of the Education Commission of the States, and I was a commissioner from New Hampshire. Thank you, Governor Benson. But the thing is what Governor Benson appointed me to that board. I love Craig Benson.
He was deranged, and now that explains a lot. Oh, man.
Best thing about Craig Benson, when he had a meeting in his office when he was governor of this great state, they had to be stand-up meetings. Nobody was allowed to sit down. And if that meeting started at 11, at 11:01, his door was locked.
You know what the best thing about Governor Benson was?
The Hummer.
When he got defeated.
Ah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were talking. Mike Huckabee, I like. Rubio did a good job. I love Pataki, but I just not seen it. I was disappointed in Trump. Carly Fiorina did very well, but I didn't like the way she answered the question in the New Hampshire forum. Like I said, she was asked a question, answer it about you, and she answers more on a global spectrum. Do you know what I'm saying? She talks as a CEO as if talking for her company or something. But Kasich, I like a lot.
And the great thing about all these candidates is this is so early in the campaign.
So
the
early.
best thing about this,
Tell me.
the only good thing about Trump
Is buying new outfits to go meet them.
yeah. The only good thing about Trump is he actually brought media attention in. The bad thing about it is a lot of the other candidates aren't getting their fair airtime but that's Trump.
That's the way the old cookie crumbles. And
Yeah.
I thought,
John Kasich last night made a good point.
Tell me.
He said, don't ask me about any other candidate. He goes, you want to ask them about themselves, ask them about themselves. But I'm only going to answer you how I feel because he goes, it's hard enough getting airtime and to talk about another candidate.
Yes.
That's a very good point.
It's an extremely good point. And, there's so much more coming up, and who knows what's going to play out with Miss Hillary. And, she's got this commercial, and it's talking about family and her mother and family values and women and all the issues and stuff. And you think about it, and it's like, look what Bill Clinton did.
What did he do?
And look at her.
What would he do?
He disgraced the top office in this land.
As a matter of fact, talking
He's the
about-
most charismatic candidate I've ever met, and he's cute. But he disgraced the Oval Office.
Well, if you call disgracing an Oval Office carrying like a $1 trillion surplus and reducing the deficit down to zero.
You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
big-
You know what I'm talking
If you're gonna,
But what I'm
if you're
talking about
gonna-
is
if you're gonna-
Hillary Clinton is going family values, and she made all these women who had accused him and come forth like as if they were making this stuff up. That's my point.
Let me tell you something.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, if you can get the United States into a surplus, if you can erase the deficit, if you can have the economy that Bill Clinton did, I don't care if he has a harem of women in the White House. As a matter of fact, I'll pay a couple of extra bucks. It's like just run the damn country. Then you get someone
Is he the only
then you
one
get like
that's
George W.
ever-
He goes, I'm bored. Let's go invade a country.
That is not what
And
he
then
did.
he wiped out like $1 trillion surplus. He goes, okay, did my job. I'm out of here.
No.
Oh, it's
We'll see
terrible.
how the record books show. George W. is a good egg.
Record books that's written in Texas.
Not as
two
written in
different
Texas,
things.
and the Texas Rangers are wonderful, by the way.
As a matter of fact, I do agree with Donald Trump about building the damn wall, but it should be on the
Build
north side
it.
of Texas and not on the south side of Texas. We can go back to 49 states and call it even.
Moving right along as we're boring everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
What?
what about the Orange River in Colorado?
Yeah, well,
Isn't that something?
What a mess.
The EPA went in and they went to clean up an old mine site. The water got redirected back into this huge river that then turned orange, and now they're finding out all these chemicals are in it.
Yeah,
Things are dying. People can't use their water.
it's a mess.
It's a
I'm
mess.
glad it's not up here because we're not hearing that much of it here, but you live down in that area.
Oy.
I mean, they're shutting off all their drinking water.
Right.
That's brutal.
Exactly.
And we're kind of agreeing on that. You got to be careful with
You gotta be careful.
pollution. And you got to be careful when you're in charge.
You got to
of
give a hoot and don't pollute.
Wow, you know what?
What?
You could probably make money off that one.
You think so?
Yeah, let's try that sometime.
Okay, I shall.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
Okay, we only got a couple minutes left. Can you believe that already?
Okay, hit me.
Please. I just wanted to give we got to talk about good stuff for a few minutes too.
Okay, go ahead.
But I got to do kind of the moron of the week thing. It's the Maine Governor Paul LePage with the heroin issue. I'm only going to get back to that for a second. He wants to call it the National Guard to arrest people, and when they ask him about what about rehab, he goes, no rehab, just prison. Here's my moron of the week. And Maine's a good
There's
state.
my moron of the week.
How they put a moron like that up in Maine? Maine's a good state.
You knew I was going to go there, didn't you?
Yeah. I'd go to a lot
My
of places.
hair's
but
a
I've only-
mess.
I've only got two. I was going to make a comment on that too.
You need powder.
You need a haircut.
We love each other.
Yeah, we do. Wait till we go off air. Hey, we only got a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of fun stuff, but not fun stuff. It's a year anniversary of Robin Williams passing away.
Yes.
You know, and I'll show you all my photos on my camera that I have when Robin Williams was in Keene, because I was on the council when they filmed Jumanji, and that was a lot of fun. He was a great guy. I'm glad I had a chance
He
to
was
meet
a
him.
great guy.
They're planning on doing a Jumanji remake out in California at Hollywood. And I heard some comments around here. It's like, you know, you can't do a Jumanji remake if you don't come to Keene. We don't have Robin Williams. But I look at it this way. If you do a Jumanji remake, it brings more interest back into the original film that Robin Williams did.
It does.
And it could bring tourists back into Keene. So instead of saying, you know what, we don't like that, let's say, let's take advantage of that. If they do another Jumanji, you know, we'll get together with the Chamber of Commerce and we'll say, look, let's promote the original Jumanji was filmed in Keene. Come on here and visit us.
Hallelujah, brother.
Say that?
I'm all about
Okay.
bringing in tourism and things like that. And let me tell you.
Perfect.
You didn't ask what I did this weekend.
What'd you do this
but
weekend?
I'll go ahead and tell you.
Okay, you got a minute left to tell us.
Robin and I decided to take a walk downtown on a Friday night. And we started down by Cumbies, you know, dear, where it used to be, where it's now Ramuto's or something.
Ramunto's?
Pizza. Ramunto's, yes, used to be 176.
Yep.
And we stopped, and it was so nice. All of these businesses have people eating outside. There's couples walk in. There's all different young people, older people, very nicely dressed. We walked all around, went up around the square. We visited every spot.
Downtown, one of the things we're talking about in downtown Keene now is, you know how the sidewalks, we have those curbings up the middle of the sidewalk?
I do.
There's talk now about trying to get rid of those curbings so people have more space for outdoor seating. But it's going to cost money, so we have to kind of
Oh, the
take our
curbing
time.
by the sidewalk.
They kind of go up the middle of the
Gotcha.
sidewalk. We have the planters and the trees in
Yeah.
them, and some of the businesses have asked if we can make more room for. What?
We're running out of time.
We only got 17 seconds left. You talk too much.
That's a song. She talks too much. She worries me to death.
That could be a separate show.
Bye-bye.
You said that too early. Look at that. We have like 7 seconds left. Hold it. Hold this.
The dating
You
game.
gotta hold it.
You got to do the
Ready?
dating game.
Bye. See everybody next week. Have a great week, guys.
Peace.